Good morning. Good morning, my loves. Good morning, good day, and good evening. Welcome to my page. My name is Maputi. When you address me, please do not Google me. Please do not Togoza me. Call me Mukulu. Don't namaste me. Just address me as Maputi. Maputi is highly sufficient to address me. And then also, let's be respectful when you come in. All right. I make long videos. I don't get to the point, and I don't know what the point is, but I know we are going somewhere. Right? And if you do decide to join us, you're more than welcome. Please know that no one is forcing you to like, comment, watch the videos. You do it out of your own accord. But if you do then decide that you would like to join us on this journey, please know a few things. The inbox sections are not for you to play around and be asking me stupid questions in them. Use your mind, apply your mind. I'm not here to serve you and just answer every single question like you ate the chocolate. What does that have to do with me? Hey, I'm fasting, I ate the chocolate. So, me and my Zulu. How is that my issue? Like, you cannot be coming into a stranger's inbox on social media and asking them that. That is like you guys must be serious. When you come into the inbox, you use the inbox to inquire about whether you want to. If you ask a question, it must be about consultations, right? If you have questions about video, things that are said in the video, ask it in the comment sections, and then we will see if we decide to answer them. But this is free content. You are not paying me. You following me is not a matter of saying you are paying me and I must now be at your disposal to answer every stupid question that you have that has to do with your spirituality. Even if people say I'm not nice, but let's be honest. You decided to fast, and then after you decide to fast, you eat a chocolate, and then you come into a stranger's inbox and ask them, did I make him, like what must I do now? Did you consult with me before you decided to fast? And yet I've never made a video telling people to fast. You get what I mean? So some of you just need to use your mind. Like really, use your mind. For those of you interested in a consultation with me, please know that it's a prerequisite that you at least watch half of our videos before you come and book a consultations, because we honestly don't have time to be sitting and educating you on things that you could have learned in a video. People who watch videos know how effective the videos are. Right? It doesn't matter. Whether, because some people be like, but I'm paying you. Yeah, you're paying, but at the same time, we didn't ask for your money. Right? Okay, cool. How do you book a consultation? Those watching from YouTube, you can book a consultation via email. The email link is found on the bio. Those watching from TikTok, you can inbox us, or you can email us. The email link is there. You will get the same message. Every single person gets the same message. Our admin will send you the very same message that everyone gets. No one is special. Okie dokie. So today we are going to... why am I so itchy here? So today we are going to be discussing... I haven't done anything in the source of wealth for a while. Right? For a while. Source of wealth. So this video, you would want to be watching all the source of wealth videos. There's over 20 of them. There's a lot of source of wealth videos. There's the videos that we talk about source of wealth. Energetic flow of money videos. You would want to watch the royal videos, the royal codes videos as well. All right, so this lesson, the title is coming from something that was said in a consultation yesterday. They gave me like a light bulb moment on how I want, not the lesson did not come from the consultation, but it's something that was said in the consultation that made me feel like, okay, this is how I want to do this, right? Also, it is part of a conversation that I've been having with a few of my mentees on the side with regards to some of their dreams as they were submitting them and how we are navigating in energy and well, right? And then I remember I said to one of my mentees, and I said this to her, I was like, there's a wealth transfer. And I think there's a lady who was making videos on Instagram last year who kept on talking about wealth transfer, right? She's American. It didn't make sense. Well, I knew what she was talking about, but there's certain things you need to experience them in order for them to make a little bit of sense, right? So she was talking about wealth transfer. And so as I was having my discussion with one of my mentees, this was sparked by a dream that she had. And so we were going back and forth about her dream and discussing the symbols in her dream and blah, 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 and navigating. And the conversation ended up going into royalty and wealth, right? And then I then said to her, there's a wealth transfer, have you noticed it, right? She's like, no, small putty, I'm still getting my my waving, I'm still trying to figure out things. And I was like, okay, fine. So that was because of that. And then I wanted to talk about a wealth transfer, right? So I am going to do another lesson on wealth transfer, but let's put this as the foundation. So we're moving from the source of wealth. We need to revisit the source of wealth and the transferring of wealth, right? The source of wealth, the acquiring of wealth, and the transferring of wealth. There's 3 steps. No, it's the source of wealth, the transfer of wealth, and the acquiring of wealth. So as I said in the previous video, every family has their own source of wealth. And in the multiple videos that I've made on this topic, people have been struggling with the fact that where they come from, it does not look like there is a source of wealth. And I had to keep on reiterating it over and over that there is. It's just that there is a certain point where the wealth was taken, and generation, maybe 3, 4, 5 generations, they've not had wealth. But it doesn't mean that within the lineage there's no form of generational wealth whatsoever. There is, right? There is always some form of generational wealth, because there is a point where Africans had wealth. It was then stolen from them. It was then taken from them through the stealing of authority, through the stealing of land, through whatever, right? Migrations or whatever, or however way that they lost their wealth. Now, in order to move from this, in order to access the source of wealth, you need to go through the wealth transfer process. In order to access your source of wealth, there needs to be a transfer of wealth. Wherever the wealth is, it needs to be transferred back to you. Before there could be a transfer of wealth back to you, there is something that's blocking. There's a blockage that's making many of you, unable to access your source of wealth. There's a blockage, and the blockage is called generational curses. The biggest blockage is called generational curses, because the source of wealth was a generational wealth for many families. It was a wealth that was there for generations and generations and generations. And there's a particular point where it stopped being a generational wealth. And then there was no wealth whatsoever. Instead, when the wealth stopped, you acquired generational curses. Right? So now, instead of having generational wealth, you are stuck with generational curses. So for many of you, for those who actually have been listening to the source of wealth videos, the energetic flow of money videos, the royalty videos, and you are stuck and you're like, but how do I unlock this? Start at generational curses. So there's many people that came to me for consultations and they were seeking their source of wealth. I don't know how many people I've consulted and they're like, what is my source of wealth? Even with every single thing I say here, that I can't tell you what your source of wealth, because it's a family source of wealth. So why would they tell me what your family source of wealth is? It doesn't make sense. Why would I then know other people's source of wealth? Because then I will start having ideas and then go use those ideas and build my own source of wealth from them. Right? I'm human as well. right? I'm human as well. And if I see a good idea and you're not using it, I'm going to take it and use it, right? Because I'm human. And so I don't want to be tested like that because my human nature will come out. So there's no way that the ancestors, and also ancestors don't do that because they're trying to preserve. Remember, the whole reason you are here, you don't know your source of wealth, is because it was taken. It is because it was taken. In history, in war, when you want to acquire an empire, right? Let's go back to the ancient times in the art of war. When you want to acquire an empire, you have to do a couple of things. You have to first send spies to that particular place, empire, and let the spies learn every single thing about that place. We saw it in the Bible when the walls of Jericho. We saw it when the Israelites wanted to acquire Jericho, right? Is it Jericho? Is it the walls of Jericho? Yes, when they trembled. We saw it in Egypt. The Greeks, how they ended up defeating the Egyptians is because they went and learned every single thing. But you don't just go learn their trade secrets. You need to learn their spiritual secrets, because where their spiritual secrets are, that's where their wealth is. Wealth and spirituality are the same key. Wealth and spirituality are the same key. And many people who actually have true wealth, not money, I'm not talking about people who made 10 million from a tender. I'm not talking about people who made 10 million from a business sale. I'm talking about people who have true wealth, people who have true generational wealth. All those people have an element of spirituality attached to them. They're either deeply religious or deeply connected to their religion, whether it be Catholic or something. I mean, like even the mafias are very religious, right? They're either deeply connected to some form of religion or secret society or some spirituality. Many of them, you will see them, they'll be very much connected to Buddhism, Hinduism, even if they're not from those religions, from those cultures. But many of them, you will see them. Right, I was watching the documentary on Nubu, right? The Nubu, they made a documentary on Nubu because those are the things that I like to watch. And, you know, as I was watching it, the ancestors were talking to me, and I noticed the head of chefs at Nubu is a white guy. He's always wearing red strings. He's always wearing red strings on his hands. And I was like, if you know the meaning of red strings, it is not always, there's Hindus wear red strings, Islams wear red strings, right? He's always wearing red strings. So you notice that the level of spiritual connection that is there. And I mean, like they've built generational wealth, and they've established Nubu to be a generational business to the point that even when they're gone, their kids, the systems that they've created, even when they're gone, their kids will still benefit from it. Right? So people who have true wealth have also connected spiritually. There's a true spirituality. So in the art of war, when you want to conquer an empire, the first place you need to go is send spies that will learn the religion. Learn the pureness of the religion, and then from there you will easily infiltrate the royalty, the government, and every single thing. Once you've learned that, then you can go and attack them because you know every single thing about them. So your wealth, your source of wealth, your generational wealth from maybe let's say 10 generations back, it was taken because certain people came and learned who you were. And once they learned who you were, they then took every single thing from you and taught you a different version of who you are. They then told you that you were a slave, you were savage, you didn't have houses. So many of you believe that in Africa we never had houses. You believe that all these monumental buildings that has roads to them, they were built by roads when roads found them there. You believe we never had streets, we never had electricity, They even teach you a history where they tell you that they colonized you, they made you a better person. So in your subconscious mind, you are always thinking that they made you, but you don't realize that you actually made them, and they took what you taught them and used it against you, right? So this is why I've been going through this series of Wealth is Your Birthright. If you remember in the series, for those of you who've been with me on this journey and who actually want to learn, who've taken the time to watch the videos, if you remember in the Wealth is Your Birthright videos, right? Please don't come and ask me where the videos are. Go start at the bottom. Start at the bottom. If you're new here, start at the bottom, work your way up. If you go through the Wealth is Your Birthright video, if you remember the Wealth is Your Birthright video, you remember I went into a history. I went into a history of what we had. I mean, like, even if you go research history that was never destroyed, the Moorish people have had streets, we've like literally even taught the European how to bath, how to have running water, how to use a cloth. They still don't know, most of them. Most of them still don't know how to use a cloth. They still don't know how to bath. You know, even after all these generations, they still could not grasp the whole concept of how to bath. I'm kidding. Right, so we literally had to teach them all those things. We have light because of Africans. We have running water because of Africans. We have illuminations because of Africans. We have clothes, cotton. We have cotton. We have pure cotton because of Africans. Right? So they did not bring cotton to you. You brought cotton to them. You brought them clothes. We have beds, a sleeping bed as an invention of Africa. When they were sleeping with their animals in barns, we were sleeping on beds covered with silk and cotton, on mattresses. We have medical procedures because of Africans. We have jewelry because of Africans. Right? We have all these things because of Africans. We have perfume, scent because of Africans. We have all these things because of Africans. Today, they then tell you that they taught you how to do that thing. Right? They told you that they were the greatest empire. When they got here, there were only the Khoisans who were living here, who did not have clothes. That's the Scavenger terminology that they taught you, but that's not the truth. When they got here, we were wearing clothes. We were dripping ourselves in gold. We were wearing beautiful silk and linen. We were trading amongst ourselves. I remember I was watching this video of this guy who usually, I like watching him because he gives a lot of accurate historical content in terms of Africa. And he made a video about a place, not in Mpumalanga, but Mapuma something, Mapulani something in South Africa, where they discovered graves. They discovered graves of mummifications, where that particular empire used to mummify their people. And there were graves of mummies in them with pure gold, and there was a golden rhino that was found there. There was a golden rhino that was found there, and there were golden bowls, golden what, and that dates back like to 5,000 years back. Pre-colonizers, way before pre-colonizers. And whatever artifacts were found in those tombs, they were hidden in a museum. Because then they could not afford to expose them to people to say that we found this in graves that were there before the colonizers came, because then it means that as Africans we were always rulers. So if they were able to carve a rhino out of gold, pure gold, it tells you the amount of wealth. There were certain things that were found there, the trademarks that show that they used to trade with India, they used to trade with China, they used to trade with the Arabic Peninsula. They used to trade all over the world, that kingdom in the southern region. So everyone says the southern region was inhabited by the San people, but there were kingdoms that were thriving in the San region that were just destroyed and hidden away, because it benefits the colonizers to hide to. But they say that in the art of war, those who win the war write the history. Those who win the war write the history. They decide the narrative that they share about how they won the war. So the narrative that was shared is that you are nothing. And you have been believing you are nothing, and you come from nothing, and you come from people who are nothing. right? And due to that, you will always remain nothing if you continue to believe that. The whole reason I've went through a series of source of wealth, of your wealth is your birthright. It is to awaken your subconscious mind. It is to awaken you, to awaken your soul to the fact of who you truly are. Once that awakening starts to happen, you start questioning yourself to say that if truly my people used to possess this much wealth, if Mansa Musa, because there were greater kings than Mansa Musa, there were kings who were richer than Mansa Musa amongst Africa. He's the richest man ever lived on earth. He's the richest man who ever lived on earth because it was recorded. And because he made the price of gold go down. But if it was never recorded, then he would not have been the richest man. But there were other empires and colonies in Africa that were richer than Mansa Musa, that were richer than Mali. Yet, because they didn't record about them, that we don't know about them. But you would dream about your people. You would dream about the kings that are coming to you draped in gold. I have people's ancestors when I do consultations, and I would be describing a person's ancestors, and the people are draping in gold. Like people are wearing gold rings, like ancestors are wearing gold, because gold was their thing. And the person's like, yo, so much gold. One of my mentees, when she was doing the cleansings, she was just like, she kept on having visions of gold. Obviously, that's my kind of people. I was like, yes. We love this, right? So now, in order for you to access, I've talked about energy. I've talked about energy a lot. In order for you to access this wealth that's coming 10 generations back, you need to understand that there is something that was stolen here. And you need to retrieve what was stolen. And once you retrieve what was stolen, then you restore. The wealth transfer will happen. There's an automatic wealth transfer that's happening. The wealth transfer is not officiated by you. It is officiated by the Hosana. Right? There's an automatic wealth transfer happening. But the transferring of wealth is automatically officiated by the Hosana, but to the people who are aligned with the wealth. So your first point is not to ask me, what is your source of wealth? Your first point is to ask yourself, what do I need to do to align with the source of wealth? I have many people come for consultation, and ancestors don't reveal their source of wealth because you have so many things you need to deal with that they don't have time to be telling you what your source of wealth is, because you'll be focused on that. They need you to focus. And you need to break the generational curses. Generational curses aren't only in toxicity. Generational curses, when people think about generational curses, we always think about parenting. My parents were toxic. I'm going to break the generational cycle. You always think about relationship toxicity when you think about generational curses. But there's generational curses in financial mismanagement. Financial mismanagement is a generational curse that many of you need to break, and you break it through learning. Teaching yourself financial management. Why would I say that? Why is this very important for you to learn? Because if you cannot manage the little resources you are given, how then do you expect your ancestors to tell you what your source of wealth is? They gave you a job, and yet instead of managing the funds from the job, you are deep in debt. You can't manage, you can't do anything, you can't even buy food. You literally can't even take your kids to school, and yet they gave you money. And you are always complaining to them, oh, my people, where are you? Where is the money that you promised me? But they gave it to you. I have people coming to me and say, where's the money that my ancestors promised me? And yet you ask them, do you not have a job? How did you pay for this consultation? No, yeah, I work, but I'm in debt. Yes. You are in debt. The debt, did the ancestor make you have the debt? Yes, there's some of you who the debts that you're in is because of the ancestral work that you had to do. But Many of you, even before the ancestral work, you still did not know how to manage your money. So the number one thing you need to go learn is money management. How would you be given more if you cannot manage the little that you have? There's a parable. You find it in the Bible. Even in the Bible, they teach us that principle. Right? In the Bible, they teach us that principle. So it is on the wealth transfer is going to people who have learned how to manage their resources. Your generational wealth is livestock. Yet you don't know any single thing about livestock. And yet you are asking what my generational wealth is. You don't even know how to manage accounting books. Well, you need an accountant for that. But I'm just saying, you don't even know. There's someone, I was discussing something with someone, and we were gossiping about someone. We were clebering someone, someone. I'm human, not an angel. Even angels gossip. I'll be here gossiping about many of you with your angels and your ancestors. Like, yeah, she's like that. And so we were talking about someone, but not from a point of we're not talking from a point of belittling them or like, you know, talking bad about them, but we're trying to understand how to help them. And this particular person, money comes out. There's someone stealing money out of their account. It's stealing, but they don't see it as stealing. They see it as taking, because this person is family. And this person whose family gets a salary every single month. This person gets a salary every month from the business, and yet they pay themselves more money separately, and they've been hiding that money. That's stealing. But the person doesn't want to admit that that's stealing, because this is a family member, you know? And so we're talking about it. And so if you are a person, and the only way aware now, like it's something that became aware recently when they started the cleansings and working with me, that's when it was revealed to them. So now if you are asking about a source of wealth and you have no idea what goes in and what goes out, that nitty-gritty details of the money that's involved in your life, then how then do you expect the ancestors to reveal more? Yes, there will come a time when you are making billions are going into your account. But there are billionaires who they know how to scan a financial statement so well, to the point that they can tell you where you need to fix. In less than 5 minutes, they will scan that financial statement and then tell you, no, you need to make changes here and here and here. Because they know exactly the going and in of money and how it needs to be. So you need to break the generational curses. Generational curses can be things like, so we said mismanagement of money, mismanagement of sexual energy. Because for the wealth transfer to happen, we need sexual energy. And if you are depleting it and giving it away to people, you continue sleeping with people and giving it away, how will you then receive the source of wealth? What must your ancestors say now? They have nothing to do the wealth transfer. They have nothing. They need energy. They need fuel. A car doesn't move without fuel. No spaceship, nothing moves without fuel. Gas, fuel, or some electric, but they need charging. So how are they going to charge your blessings and give them momentum when there's nothing to fuel them with? Victim mentality, right? That comes from, there's families that every single person is always a victim in them. That they never see the faults of themselves, but they're always seeing everyone else's faults around them. That's a generational curse. So it is in going into doing shadow work. You need to go dive deep into your own shadow work. You need to dive deep into your own shadow work and look at your limitations. You can't keep a job. You literally cannot keep employment. because you are unable to get along with anyone. Not because the people are bad, but because you just do not know how to build proper relationships. And then you're going to blame it and say, no, because I work with royal ancestors, that's why I can't keep a job. No, it's not that. It's not because you work with royal ancestors that you can't keep a job. It is because you yourself don't know how to do your job. You're not even attentive to detail. One thing about royal ancestors is they're very attentive to details. They're very attentive to details, to the simplest details. And meticulous. They're very meticulous about how they do it because they were royalty. They had to rule empires. So it's not about, no, I cannot take orders from other people. No, it's not about that. It's about the fact that you don't want to be told when you're wrong. It's about the fact that you just don't know how to do your job. There are people who are crying in consultations, I'm about to lose my job, but when you look at their performance, they're performing above average. Below average, sorry. They're performing below average at work, and yet they are crying. You are not putting in the work. Some of you are meant to go through training. For the wealth transfer to happen, you need to go through training. A couple of years working for someone, learn the trade secrets. Just like in the art of war, you need to send people to learn the trade secrets, and then they come back, and then you are able to create something better. You need to be in these companies learning their trade secrets. But yet you are not learning nothing in those companies. I remember working for a company. The last job I had, my last job that I had, worked for a company. I was working for a company, and in this company, I had to start businesses. That's all I did. My job was to start businesses. Well, I had other responsibilities, but my main job was to just start businesses for the company. They would just give me an idea, and I would just have to run with it. And the skills that I learned there, and I remember I was once in a meeting with ESCO, because I reported to ESCO. I was in a meeting at ESCO, and they were breaking down my numbers, my finances, my every single thing that my report, yes, that's the word I'm looking at. My financial reports, my different reports that I had submitted, and they were breaking them down. And they were like literally they were at me. And I'm sitting with directors that have been directors for a long time. And they're going deep and deep and deep, and one by one. All I remember is tears were coming out. All I remember is that I started crying because I was like, what? But I am grateful because after that, they were like, no, we're not being hard on you. We're not reprimanding you. We're just showing you where you need to improve. And I was like, okay, I get it. And I'm the only woman in ESCO at that time. And I have to sit with 7 men who are breaking down and everything. And men are not emotional creatures. So they won't give you feedback in a baby way, So obviously, and I mean, like, there were only 2 black men there. The remainder of them are Afrikaners. So no one was there looking at my feelings, But I look back at that experience. I look back at that experience with gratitude, because it is in that company that I learned how to build a business. It is in that company that I learned what I love to do. It is in that company that I learned what I'm passionate about. It is working for that company where my style of business emerged. It is working in that company where I started to dream even bigger. Because I mean, like, one of the directors was making $1 million a month. $1 million a month. One of the directors was making $1 million a month. Take home salary, $1 million. I was like, what? I started, that was my training. That was my real training. And when I left that company, I remember when I left that company to start my own company. They did give me a cushion, they did give me grace and say no, because they're entrepreneurs. So they treated me like an entrepreneur, because even when I sat with them, they sat with me and talked to me like an entrepreneur, not an employed person. And I'm always grateful for that, because I learned so many things about entrepreneurship. Not just about entrepreneurship, but I learned so many things about money, how they managed their money, what they did to hide money. And then so many things there, because it was training season for me. And when training season was done, I went and I started working for myself, and I've never worked for anyone else after that. Now, me saying I've never worked for anyone else, does it mean that I always had clients? No. Does it mean that things were always smooth 24/7? No. I had years when there was no client, when I was struggling. And yet I never gave up, because I had made the decision when I left there that I'll never work for anyone ever again. But that means making a lot of sacrifices. Does that mean I always had money coming in? No, I could not even buy a car. Could not even be offered credit. Could not be offered, because I was high risk. No one wanted to, they wanted to see the money, and yet there were no clients coming in. Does that mean I always had it figured out? No. Did that mean that I had one business and now it's still in existence? No. I've had many businesses along the way, ever since then, because I left in 2015. Yes, 2014, 2015. So it's been over how many years now? Almost over 10 years. Yeah, over 10 years, over 10 years. In over 10 years, I've had many businesses. I've had to learn many hard lessons. I had to go years without income. But I never gave up. My first default, when things were tough, my first default was not to go find a job. But why? Why is that? My first default was not that. There's the birds that keep coming here. My first default was not to go find a job, because obviously I did not have other mouth that I'm feeding. And that was part of the plan. I made the decision that I don't want to have a mouth that I need to feed, because until I'm at the point when I can fully provide for me and that mouth. Right? So I've been intentional about things that I've been doing in my life. I've been intentional. I don't make mistakes. I don't want to call my child a mistake. But that's me, right? That's me. I've been intentional. I've made plans. And today I'm sitting where I am today. Spirituality found me along the way. Well, spirituality has always been there. But this form of spirituality that I'm doing found me along the way. And when this form of spirituality came, it just wooved itself in the life that was already in existence, in the business that was already in the way of systems that were already there, because the systems have been working for 10 years. So obviously, this spirituality integrated itself in that systems. And hence, that's why I do things differently. I don't need to sit down with you and look you in the eyes to do a consultation, because I have been working with people outside of spirituality and doing work for them, wonderful work for them, without even knowing, having seen their faces. So even when the spiritual gifts awakened, I didn't need to sit with anyone, because I had already developed a system of how I connect with a person outside of physical contact. Right? So now the wealth transfer is happening to those who are ready. Those who have done the work, those who have healed, those who have literally healed generational curses. Because you need to heal, you need to remove the generational curses to revive the source of wealth. Because the thing that's blocking the source of wealth for many of you is the generational curses. And yes, you did not start the curses. But unfortunately, in order for you to access the source of wealth, you need to break the curses. So if you're willing to put in the work, you will find your source of wealth. And when you are ready, the source of wealth is not going to be given. The source of wealth is not going to be given to a healer. It will be given to you directly. You yourself, you will be told directly what your source of wealth is. No one is going to have to come and say, so I was in a consultation and I think you need to look. No, no one is going to do that. Your ancestors will come to you directly. And this is what me and that mentee were talking about. Because of the dreams that are coming, the dreams that we've been working on since last year, because of these dreams, we are moving closer and closer and closer. And as she starts her Hosana initiation, as we're now starting our Hosana initiation, our Hosana classes, and our Hosana cleansings, now, ever since the Hosana started coming into her life, and now they said they are ready for her, because the Hosana will say, they will say to me, no, we are ready for this particular person. They can join the Hosana class, start the cleansings, and now they start their initiation. Right? My classes work along with the Hosana initiation. They initiate them. As they are taking the class, they also do their own initiation on the side. I don't do Hosana initiation. I just create modules that trigger the initiation. I just create assignments that trigger the right direction of your initiation. Right? So now, as she's now ready, the Hosanas, after they said that, no, we are ready for her, she must come into the Hosana class. She knew she's ready as well. Now the dreamscape, the dream landscape has started shifting, because now we are initiating. Hosana is initiating wealth. If you didn't know, if you've initiated Hosana and you're broke, if you were you've went through initiation of Hosana and today you don't have money, and you're broke, you don't even have a single income, you need to go relook that initiation, because Hosana is initiating wealth. Hosanas, they initiate you to unlock your source of wealth. Hosanas, they initiate you to build generational wealth. Hosanas, they initiate you to awaken the royal bloodline. Hosanas, they initiate you to finish your soul mission on earth. And no one, and as I said, no soul mission, no one becomes a god without being wealthy. That's what the Hosanas initiate you from. Yes, when you start your Hosana initiation, it doesn't mean you'll be a millionaire immediately. But along your Hosana initiation, you're supposed to be given a business that's going to be making you a million. An idea, a career. Some of you, yes, you're initiating Hosana. Yeah. But you're not meant to run your own business because you don't have the mind for running a business. As I said, there are people who are earning $1 million a month. You will be one of those people. You are being initiated to be one of those people who are earning over millions a month. Do you know some CEO how much they're earning in South Africa? I'm not talking about overseas here. I'm not going to be talking about other countries here. Talking about your own country, your South Africa. In Africa, there are people who are earning money. There are people who are taking home after a whole year. After a whole year, you find the take home was 50 million. How much are they earning a month? Ask yourself that. So the world is telling you that Africa is broke, Africa is poor. You are also believing it, and yet you are living. When you are in the major cities, there's Ferraris, there's Lamborghinis, there's all these cars. People are affording power someone. Someone was made a video. I was so angry about that video because I like Ferrari. And the person was like, no, when you look at this car, it's expensive in South Africa. And hey, blah, don't put yourself under pressure to buy this car. No, we want to be under pressure. Me, I want to be under pressure to afford that car. I'm putting myself under pressure. No one is putting myself under pressure. I want to afford a Parasangwa. Right? So if there are people driving that car, means that there are people who are making more money to drive that car. So let's do that. So now you need to understand that not every single person is going to revive their source of wealth through business. Some of you need to leave the business ideas alone. You are not a business person and you know yourself. You do not have the stamina for business. and your ancestors will not require you to be a business person. They can literally even give you an amazing job that will help fulfill their mission. Some of you, they've given you good jobs. They just need you to do the job. They just need you to put effort. They need you to go get all the qualifications. There's a knowledge transfer that happens before the wealth transfer. And this is what we were talking about with the mentee. That when President Mbeki was president in South Africa, there's a lot of knowledge transfer that happened. We had started having the Black excellence, people who are now educated. It was no longer, because in the apartheid era, people could only be educated by being a nurse, a teacher, you know, that's all they could ever do. Now we were having people who were actual scientists, people who were like hitting the mark. We are now start having like serious Black people gaining momentum. Now that these Black people have established themselves in those big spaces, and in those big spaces, in those big corporate companies, when you look at it, the Black people in a corporate company, when you look at it, the Black people know the job more than the white people. The white people who are supposed to be their manager, forums, don't even know how to do the job. But yet they've been put in that position by color because of their skin tone, right? But in order for you to get to where they are, that's why the wealth transfer needs to happen. So yes, you've managed to get yourself in a position where you have the qualifications and you can do the job better than them. Do the job better than them. And then your ancestors are then going to open avenues. They could open an international company position of contract for 2 years. Many of you are afraid to take those contracts because it's like, yo, what if I don't find a job when I come back? That's a lack of faith. That's limited mentality. They open a job for you with the UN, and you have to just work with the UN for 2 years. After working with the UN, your CV is different. When you come back, even if you were to come back into the company, you cannot take the same position. You will definitely be higher than the person who was overseeing you. It's a strategic chess game. Strategic moves. Some of you, they take you and they say, go work in Saudi for 3 years. When you come back in South Africa, you have better qualifications, you have better experience. You now make the rates. You now decide which company you work for. Have you ever been interviewed and where you don't go to an interview because you're desperate for a job, but you're going there to source out if the company is right for you? There are people who do that. They don't go to an interview because they're desperate for a job. They go to an interview to see if the company is fit for the company that they are looking for. When they are there, they're not asking them, how much are you going to pay me? The interviewer can't ask them, what salary are you looking, like how much, like we are going to offer you this much. No, they're saying to the interviewer, I already have an offer from this company. They're willing to pay me this much. I already offer from this company. They're willing to pay me this much. How much are you willing to pay me? And these are the terms of my contract. In the meta, what is that? That drama. Atkins, what is that drama? Something about meta. Something about meta. But it's a law thing that I used to watch. And I remember when they were interviewing her, when the company was looking for her, she did not go there to take their offer. She went there to give them an offer. And then afterwards she said, if you don't take it, there's already someone that has accepted the offer. That's people will think, right? So that some of you need to go there. That's how you unlock your source of wealth. There are wealthy people who have jobs, guys. There are wealthy people, I repeat, there are wealthy people who have jobs. And that's how you unlock your source of wealth. And in that situation, you have unlocked your source of wealth in the career state. You are then paired with the person who's in the business state. And together, you build generational wealth. So, you need, if you are financially now struggling, focus on the generational curses. in your family. Break them. Detach yourself from those curses. You need to remove yourself. The generational curses, you cannot heal them. It's not like you can miraculously remove them and every single person will not have a generational curse in the family. It doesn't work like that. And I see there's a misconception. People are like, I'm healing generational curses so that my family can be better. No, they need to do their own work. They need to put in the effort. Do the same work that you are doing. You cannot save others. That's not your job. But you need to remove yourself from the generational curses. Heal yourself. And once that happens, then you open the door to accessing your source of wealth. Accessing the source of wealth, then you build generational wealth. That's the system. That's the method. I gave you the method now. Go do it. I'm kidding. Obviously, you need your ancestors to guide you through this. Because every single thing I've said here is not easy go. It's not easy go. But the reason why you are on the spiritual journey and the reason why you are given access to spiritual gifts is so that you are able to talk to your ancestors. Many of you do not have spiritual gifts to consult people. That's not your purpose. The spiritual gifts are awakening for you to initiate them and to train them so that your ancestors can talk to you and access you and give you the right insight that is needed for you to move forward. Because they will not be able to access you if you do not initiate, if you do not awaken your clairvoyance, your clear sentence, they will not be able to access you. There's so many people that I've met who dream, who are given clear instructions in dream, but yet they are not able to fulfill those instructions. They don't even follow any of those things. And it is because that they have not properly initiated their gifts. But the same people, when they start to initiate their gifts, they get to a point. They really get to a point where they are able to start understanding the communicative messages that are coming from their ancestors. There are many people who have went through initiation who are not meant to be healers and consult people, who are not meant to work with people as a spiritual practitioner. Many of you are meant to use what you learned in your initiation. You are going through spiritual initiation, not to help people, but to be able to access clear information from your ancestors. In that way, you use that information, then they will be able to have proper channels to you, where they will use those channels to guide you towards your source of wealth. How to restructure the royal line, how to build the family lineage, how to fix the marriages in the family, how to now start initiating certain kids. Then at the end, you are this uncle who is initiated, who's like rich, or auntie who is initiated, the rich aunt. You are the rich aunt who comes and then who helps the younger generation to be able to initiate, because then you understand that the family source of wealth is for these generations to be wealthy as well. That's how generational wealth proceeds. And then you are then now helping them in order to build their generational wealth. They come to you and say, Ish, I want to go and study this. And you look at it and you're like, no, I'll pay for you, but go look for something better. Because you're the rich aunt. And you were given the riches so that you are able to help those that are coming after you. Those who have done the work. Right? I hope you guys figured it out. I hope you guys are getting it. To fully understand this video, go watch The Source of Wealth. Go watch the energetic flow of money videos. Go watch the royal videos that I've made. Royal bloodline videos. Go watch. Just watch all the videos. All right, my last one. Me, I need to start my consultations. I have consultations. I've got full consultations today. I need to start my consultation and now focus on people that pay me. Can't be focused on people that don't pay me. I need to now focus on people that pay me, pay for my time, so that I can give them clear and beautiful insights and shout at them, some of them, and then shout at them. And some of them, give them their flowers. I don't always shout, guys. Sometimes I give people their flowers because they've literally actually done the proper work. All right, my loves, I love you. And I hope you guys are having a good day, and these videos are finding you at the right time, and they're adding light, they're shedding light into the messages that you're going, into the things that you're going through. But sometimes in order for me to help you, a consultation will be required. There are some things I honestly cannot answer in a comment. There are certain things I cannot answer in an inbox. There are certain things that need you to book a consultation. If you want to change your life, you need to invest in yourself. And part of investing in yourself is actually booking spiritual consultations to reinvest in yourself. Toodles!